clearing out your energy, Pisces. Welcome. This is your October 2019 tarot reading. Astrology. You know, I like to throw that in. I'm going to burn some sage for you all. Right? Just know that it is in Pisces. And oddly enough, I haven't shuffled the deck yet. Here we go. So after your video, I'm going to do Virgo. So if you want to cross watch, then that'll probably be the moment for you. And if you're cross watching, just know that any of these messages could pertain to you or the person that you are cross watching for. Okay. Oh, look. Wow. Again, Pisces, Neptune. Y'all just saw me do all that shuffling, right? Sagittarius, Jupiter. Kind of complex too, right? Because when you think of Neptune, it's the ruling planet of Pisces. But I believe it is exalted in Sagittarius or something like that. I know that Neptune and Jupiter both do very well in Cancer, which trines your energy. Jupiter being a co-ruler of Pisces. That's it. Let me go ahead and cut it, and then we're going to get started. Like, share, and subscribe, definitely. If you'd like to book a reading with me, email providencetarotKendrick@gmail.com. Tomorrow, I will be at Shanti Bookshop and Crystal Gallery on East 14th Street from 12 to 5 reading, okay? Tarot. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay your cards out. There's your immediate influence and your challenge. Okay. So, at the bottom of the deck, you've got Moon in Libra, right? So we just had a new Moon in Libra about 2 weeks ago because in a couple of days, we're going to have the full Moon in Aries. Hi! So the Moon in Libra, right? This talks about choices. This talks about analysis, right? Weighing things out. Definitely seeing change occur within your mind and your perspective, okay? Maybe you've evolved into this change of perspective. You might be allowing yourself to see things a little bit differently, or you might be asking yourself the right questions, or you just might be asking yourself questions, you know what I mean? And not really trying to leave it up to anyone else to answer these questions for you. These questions are going to come from your own inspiration and your own intuitive nature because it is a 2, so it's related back to the High Priestess. So this is really saying trust in your own judgment, right? And really be true to yourself and trust in your feelings because this is talking about feelings, okay? So stop trying to think logically about your feelings and try to explain them so that it makes sense to you. You should just allow yourself to go with the flow of your feelings, right? Because your feelings are related to your instinct, okay? And your emotional impulse. Sometimes it could lead you astray because the 2s do have to do a lot with Neptune, you know what I mean? That Pisces High Priestess energy. And the Hanged Man came out twice during the pre-shuffle, right? I mean, it was up there first, and then it came out again during the pre-shuffle, and now here we are again with Neptunian energy and High Priestess energy with the Moon being in Libra. Libra is talking about relationships. You should be, you could be, well, somebody could be saying what you should be doing, or you might be thinking about what you should be doing, but you're sort of like debating on what, when, right? Because it's talking about time as well with the Moon being involved here because that's evolutionary process, right? And then it's also talking about drawing a line, right? To make a clear understanding of where you're going. It really is talking about a path here too. You know what I mean? You might be feeling a little bit stagnant or you might be feeling stuck in one place in terms of making a decision or just in terms of like speaking or talking to someone. It's almost like you're thinking your thoughts are insecure. You're having insecure thoughts, right? This is a 2. So it's related to the 2nd house. You might even be having insecure thoughts about, you know, just really your own mental security, right? Psychological security. But it might have to do with work, you know, because the 2nd house has to do with work and Pisces energy that has to do with like Jupiter, which gives a lot, right? Venus, which is talking about your money because Venus rules the 2nd house, right? Which is Taurus. So some of you guys could be dealing with a Libra or Taurus or Pisces. It's very Venus related. So it might have to do with a relationship. You're trying to determine what choices to make or what to even say. You know what I mean? You may not know what to say, so you're not saying anything right now, you know? Or you might just be saying less. Or you're really trying to weigh out what you say because everything that you say right now might be very sensitized. So you know that it means a lot. And that's just the card at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, you're going to be sensitive to whatever it is that you are anticipating, because the 2 is also talking about anticipation of something, right? And it's also talking about reflecting on something that someone may have said, or reflecting, referring back to something, right? Or inferring, you know what I mean? And this is kind of being unbiased, right? You're trying to be as genuine as possible when it comes to trying to make you know, be descriptive in your head about what it is that you provide and what it is that someone else provides, because this is a 2. So you could be thinking about what it is that you might be providing to a relationship, and how it might be making you insecure, or something that isn't being provided within a relationship that makes you feel insecure. And it might have to do with talking. It might have to do with, you know, a level of understanding what someone needs, you know, or what someone might be sensitive to, because it is talking about being fair and being able to predetermine how someone might think or feel about such and such. So you should be able to hold yourself responsible to determine what action to take or what determination to make based on what you already have been pre-sensitized to knowing about someone else. That's what Libra teaches you, because it really is not that no one is in your head, and no, you can't expect anyone to think or know anything that you are anticipating. You know what I mean? Thinking about them. It's like, no, you do, because that's how you relate. And you have a responsibility to consider, right? Because you are the authority on what you say. You are the authority on what you speak. You are the authority on many things. That's why Libra is a cardinal sign, right? But it's kind of like you give that authority away, right? So really, you should not be like, well, that's all you. You really should, or you could, right? You would, you might try to determine what someone might be, how someone may react to what you say, or what you say might make someone, you know, their emotional response. Anyway, let me move on, because I could go on and on with that, because I'm a Libra and I have Sun in 12th house. So and I have Venus in my 11th house. So this card right here is really significant to me, right? And I'm not just talking about me. I'm just saying, like, as I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh my God, 11s and 11th house and the Justice card and Pisces and 12th house and Taurus and Venus and Pisces and Libra. Oh, Lord. Okay, sorry, you guys. So at the center of the reading, you got the Queen of Pentacles. So this had, you know, this was in the anxieties position in the Sagittarius reading yesterday that I did. So some of you guys might be dealing with a Sagittarius, or you might be dealing with travel in terms of, like, you know, because the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn, but she definitely is 1/3 Sagittarius, because that gives her complexity, and that gives her multi-layeredness, right? So this is this is talking about, you know, something that you valued might be far away, right? Because the Queen of Pentacles, Capricorn, is talking about going the distance, doing the effort. So it might be saying that there's more effort that here, right? And it might be affecting you emotionally, because the queens are cardinal and they react, right? They respond to their conditions and their environment. So this is how you feel within your conditions or your circumstance, that you might be providing something, or you're taking more effort somewhere, or you might have to take more effort, right, in order to relay or in order to express, right? So you might have to put forth the effort to express what it is that you want someone to see, right? Because the Queen definitely wants someone to see something, right? Because she's connected to the High Priestess. It's feminine energy. All of the queens are water, and she's earth, okay? So we're dealing with that. We're also dealing with responsibilities, right? So you, like I said before, you know, you have a responsibility within relationships, right? And how you relate to things. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you, when a mother hears her baby crying, she could just leave the baby crying, or she could do whatever it is that she knows she needs to do to sort of like calm the baby, right? You know that if your house is burning down, you're not just gonna fucking sit there and let that shit burn down. You're gonna do something. You're gonna be called to act, right? And that is kind of that is cardinal energy. Okay, and right now you're working with all cardinal energy, so it's initiations that have been set in place that you are reacting and responding to and noticing, right? Because it's all about being noticed when we're dealing with cardinal energy, because they're the first sign for a season. You know what I mean? That's what we're sort of like dealing with. And also, usually the cardinal sign comes after a season that has not had the element that that sign represents. So, you know, after during the winter months, we have earth, we have air, and we have water. Okay, and then when it comes around to Aries season, bam, we you know, to spring, we have an Aries, which is fire, right? So these cardinal signs are initiating things. So things have been set in motion in your life. There might be some travel happening, some travel within. You know what I mean? You could even be meditating, some of you, for real. Or you could just be needing to bring some calm to your thought process, right? But the Queen of Pentacles definitely puts a lot of effort towards something, because she feels like she has a responsibility to assert some level of authority. Probably, you know, she's bound by the fact that she is needed, or vice versa. Someone might be bound to the fact that, or you know, somebody might need you and they might be feeling bound to you, or you might need somebody, and out of needing them, you're putting forth this effort to show them something, right? Because it really is about the proof with the king, with the Queen of Pentacles, right? Where it just is a last earth sign. So Taurus is really the most stable because it's fixed and it's earth. Bam, it's just there, right? But then we get around to Virgo and it's mutable, so you can move shit around, right? Change things, right? Sometimes it gets confusing, but you know, when you come out of it, you're like, wow, that was really great and very enlightening. Which is why Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Anyway, but then we get to Capricorn, and Capricorn is talking about the buildup of something, because it's like you get it now. You get it now, right? Because you have a responsibility and you don't have time to waste. And also, it's kind of like, you know what's needed here. You know what needs to be applied, where the application is, right? Whether it's like you putting something into something or you taking something out of something. You know what I mean? Whatever that is to you, Pisces. Okay, so let's look at your immediate influence and your challenge. Here we go. We got the Judgment card, which is number 20. That's Pluto. Pluto is right now in Capricorn, okay, with Saturn. Now, the dispositing planet for Pluto being in Capricorn, well, what am I thinking of? Because I need to clear this up, because I always talk about this, and I looked at something and I knew that I was going to be mentioning this. But let's say that Pluto right here, which is in your reading, is in Capricorn. So you might be dealing with a Capricorn, or you might be dealing with a Scorpio energy, right? Or you could even be dealing with Leo or Aries, right? Because Pluto is significant to those signs. Um, but Pluto right now is in Capricorn, which is talking about struggles, restrictions, right? You might be feeling like really slowed down. Things might be feeling very dense for you. You might be feeling like you need to break out of this energy that you just feel like is making you feel kind of stuck, right? Because, you know, this is kind of feeling stuck, right? Feeling stuck. And the Queen of Pentacles is very much, you know, a part of her condition. Whatever it is that she's working on, that's what she's all in on. So we could have been talking about going all in on something and now releasing yourself from that thing. You know what I mean? Taking back your power. Like, you know, Pluto also is challenging your weaknesses, right? So, being that this is the immediate influence is being sensitive to your own weaknesses, right? And you being able to acknowledge what those weaknesses are through sort of like your own spiritual conversations with yourself. Because Pluto is kind of like, it's clairvoyance as well. You know what I mean? So it's almost kind of like when you know that you need to let go of something because it's going to be for your benefit, then you sort of are already in that place of imagining or feeling or seeing what it could be. So the being that the immediate influence is the judgment card, it's almost like you see how it is that you can free yourself from that which is confining you or that which is holding you back, and meaning holding you back in like a very an emotional place, because Pluto is kind of like how you control the emotions, right? And it's talking about mental control, like mind control, you know what I mean? So something could be really affecting you because it has a lot of power over you mentally and also emotionally. Okay, and there is a great need for you to express something, right? Or give something with time, you know what I mean? Or maybe something will settle with time, or maybe with time things will get better, you know what I mean, as you continue to move on. Mm. This isn't even water, Pisces. I don't know why I didn't get water for your reading. I'm drinking coffee. I needed it though. Okay, let's move on. This reading is seemingly long. It's been like 16 minutes and I'm on 3 cards. Y'all know I can talk. Okay, 3 of Pentacles in the Sun position. So the threes are related to the Empress, which is talking about, abundance, right? Beauty, right? It's talking about money. It's also talking about time that passes as things circulate. It's also talking about the circulation of something, money. The circulation of money could be a focus right now. And the threes are related to sharing. It's Mars and Capricorn, so it could also talk about how things might be being governed, right, or run by an authority or by someone that might be in charge, because Mars is kind of like the authority, and Capricorn is definitely an authority. So this is Mars being exalted in Capricorn, right? So it's an uplifted feeling. There's like motivation here as well, right? So you're feeling motivated, you're feeling moved and called to action for some, and it could even have to do with, just determination of self, right? Because Mars is definitely self-serving, but Capricorn can be self-serving too. But when we put this energy into good focus, right, into a positive polarity, then you are dealing with making things better for everyone, right? So the focus right here could be patching things up, fixing things, making things better, you know what I mean? And it's making things better in terms of, nurturing something. So something needs to be nurtured, and it is really related to time here. So this is going to take some time for you to construct or build or repair whatever it is that you feel like is being brought to focus to you right now. The threes are talking about to things being, related to children, right? And also messaging, communication as well, maybe patching things up by communicating well or better. Capricorn is the 10th house, and the 10th house, that is referring back to the first house of Aries, right? Because if you know who you are or what you can be or become, right, which is this Pluto in reference here to be and become, right? Then you can kind of like make something happen from that. And that's why Capricorn is the last earth sign, because it's literally making things happen that are fully manifested. So you're trying to manifest something, you're trying to get something to pass, right? And it is talking about waiting for something to come around, right? Or for someone to see where the work might be being done. Okay, so this could have to do with your job, right? Someone seeing you that you're doing a good job and you're feeling good about the good job that you're doing. The threes are talking about an understanding, a true understanding for what a situation needs from you, right? And in your moon position, wow, this is great. In your moon position, Pisces, you have you, the high priestess. So really your intuition is screaming at you, right? Whatever it is that you're thinking about, Pisces, that you're wondering about all the time, that really is your intuition, right? It's talking to you. It might be screaming at you at this point if you're always considering the same thing, right? That needs to be dealt with or handled or governed, right? Because this is external and this is internal. And like I was saying at the beginning of the reading, the high priestess rules the twos. Look at this, right? There's something behind her that needs to be revealed, right? It's like the veil is behind the high priestess, but the veil is over the eyes here, right? So she isn't in denial over what it is that she knows, right? That she's dealing with here, right? Deeply spiritual. This one knows because it's relating and reacting, but it's kind of like being in denial or allowing yourself to kind of try to see things logically when it's really not about being logical. It's about allowing yourself to do what is truthful or justified, or trusting your own choices, you know what I mean? And also like you know respect other people's choices as well, right? And like I did say that Pluto has to do with, or the High Priestess and the Judgment card are related to each other. Pluto is the esoteric ruler of Pisces, right? And here's that cross here, right? And here it is again here. Freeing yourself, allowing something to come to pass, right? Letting something go from one reality into the next, okay? Changing, right? You're seeing how something is becoming very interconnected, interwoven. It's almost like your emotions might be confusing you right now, because it's kind of like leading you down this hallway, or this kind of foggy hallway, and you're getting towards, you want to get closer to the end to see what it is that you're coming into, but it's almost like you don't understand what it is that's being told to you from your subconscious, right? Because it may not align with everything that you've always known. And the second house is related to all of the things that you've always known, right? Because it's your belief systems, and it's kind of like what people tell you, and it's like, well, this is where you belong, and this is where you are, and this is why things have to be this way, this is why things are this way, get used to it. And it's kind of like you probably were getting used to something, or you wanted to try to get used to something, but now it's saying, no, you can't get used to that, because that's not really what it is that you were meant to see, right? Or you're meant to see past whatever it was that was being shown to you, right? Because it is talking about perspective. And here we go with the number two of swords, and the Judgment card, and the High Priestess. It really is talking about your perspective, right? What is it that you see? Are you going to allow yourself to believe what your feelings might be telling you? That comes from a place of perspective. Why do I feel like I can trust my thought process, right? And then this is also talking about perspective, allowing yourself to free yourself from what was holding you back. That's a change of perspective. I feel differently. I'm going to let go of something that I felt like I was trying to control mentally and spiritually and emotionally all together, because Pluto does have a great control, okay? So we're talking about control, right? The inability to control, right? And the ability to control. Because what can you control? You know what I mean? There's some things that you can, but it's like, what do you want to control, right? When you start wanting to control things that you have no business controlling, then you get into trouble, right? Okay, let's look at your past position. I usually flip that over before, but now, this is why. Past position, toxic relationship, or toxic things happening, debauchery, right? This is kind of probably needing space from a toxic relationship. Let me show you that card again, right? Because it's a 7, so it's related to the Chariot, right? Movement forward, feeling stagnant, right? feeling stuck within the confusion and needing to move forward by trying to make a decision. We're dealing with Libra again, Pisces. So you have the Two of Swords, which is Libra here, and then you have the Seven of Cups, which is Venus in Scorpio, right? And it's the seven, so it's related to the seventh house, which is Libra. Okay, and Cancer energy. So it's talking about home. So there might have been toxic home situation, right? There might have been, something dealing with movement, right? It could be with traveling. It could even be a car for some of you guys. It could have something to do with, someone not revealing themselves completely, you know what I mean, and making it seem like maybe things were a lot more beautiful and pleasant and harmonious than they were. And then there being some things like sinks in the grass, or someone that, some things that you were seeing were hints of things that you probably didn't feel good about, you know what I mean? And then it was like you were trying to be, perfect, because it's talking about perfection with the seventh house, right? Trying to balance things out. No one's perfect, like I said before. And then it also has to do with, your imagination getting the best of you as well, because your imagination can get the best of you in relationships when you start trying to think about whatever it is. When you start thinking the worst thoughts, when you start allowing your fears to get the best of you, you know what I mean? So some of you could have been making your decisions from a place of fear in the past, right? Because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Like I was saying, I went on this whole thing about dispositing planets, and I'm going to master that, because I have Saturn in my first house, and Pluto makes me obsess about things, right? And I have a lot of Virgo too. Anyway, but like I said, Pluto is in Capricorn. Then you have to look at the planet that rules Capricorn and where that is in the chart. Coincidentally, the dispositing planet for Pluto being in Capricorn right now would be Saturn being in Capricorn with Pluto, right? So there's a conjunction here, and you have Pluto over the card that represents Capricorn, which is also ruled by Saturn. No, I think we got that. Okay, so also when we look at this is talking about learning as well, right? It's shared resources for sure within a relationship that were causing things to stir up, right? Your motivation was affected by all of the things that were being considered within the toxicity, you know? There were some places that you felt like you couldn't reach with your partner, you couldn't get to, right? They were isolating themselves in some ways, or maybe you were isolating yourself in some kind of way. This could even deal with job, right? Maybe you felt isolated in terms of work, because Scorpio does talk about work, seems, and so does Venus, because it talks about the pleasures that you get from the work, you know what I mean? So this is kind of like you might have been trying to cover up the toxicity, or what you might have felt could have become that, with pleasurable things, right? Or you could have been trying to cover your feelings with pleasurable things, right? The toxicity of your feelings and how they were affecting you, seventh house. You were trying to feel your desires with things, and it was like you were trying everything to try to convince yourself, right? Because the seventh house does have to do a little bit with convincing, right? Because we're reflecting and we're sharing within this experience, and I have to convince you that really you are a product of what you bring to the relationship, and so am I. We both are. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like, anyway, honey, Pisces, it's just really a lot with you guys sometimes, especially with the feelings and the emotions, because Venus is exalted in your sign, you know what I mean? And then you got Neptune confusing the fuck out of things. And then you got Jupiter, which is, that's a dispositing planet to you, right? Okay, so let's think about this, right? Jupiter is a ruling planet of Pisces. It's kind of very similar to that Saturn and Pluto thing, but it's not a conjunction, it's a square, right? With with which a square is talking about tension, so it's talking about, you know, things sort of like being like two foreheads pressing up against each other. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of feels like right now, right? Like you're pushing up against a boulder or something and it's not really moving, you know? Um, and Pisces doesn't have that Aries has, pushing through it all. You know, the aggression isn't there, so you can get lost in the feelings, right? That's where your aggression is placed, in the feeling, or where your energy, your motivation is placed in the feeling. So you're motivated from the feelings that you get, and that's very powerful because you are the last zodiac sign and you are the most psychic. So when you are motivated from your feelings, sometimes, right, when it's coming from a place of efficiency and a higher polarity, when you can really like make just decisions based on your feelings, okay, then we're getting somewhere. Let's look at your anxieties. More Libra, more relationships, more Aries, more Cancer energy, right? This is Jupiter in Libra, and this is talking about a truce, right? Anxiety is about a truce, right? Trusting the truth, right? A truce is saying that like I truthfully, right, trust that this is an agreement that we both can make, right? Because Libra does rule, I believe, open enemies, right? I think Pisces is secret enemies and Libra is open enemies, right? If I'm wrong, someone correct me. But, you know, this is talking about a truce, right? And then he is in this armor right here, right? So it's like, it is talking about protecting yourself. So you could be calling a truce to protect yourself, right? Or maybe someone has been protecting themselves because they just need to be able to kind of like, that's the way that they know that they're going to be okay. If they maybe isolate themselves to a degree, it's a 4, so it is talking about the self, and it's talking about standing firmly in your own belief or thought process, right? You know, and the 4s are kind of like instinct, right? The 4s are believing in your own instinct. Your instinct is to kind of like fall back, right? And it's kind of like giving you that energy of 1111, right? Because it's 4 swords, and the swords are talking about spirit, inspiration, right? Um, yes, and it's in the clouds too. So it's kind of like you've gained perspective that is now forming a foundation, right? A foundation for you in your mind, right? You're starting to feel at rest again, or you're starting to like uh, become more at ease, right? It's the growth of the learning experience, right? What a relationship has taught you, because Jupiter is the philosopher, and it's also talking about, you know, learning lessons that have been taught to you, right? Where are you taking this knowledge to? Where are you taking it with you? You know, and Saturn is the exalted planet of Libra, so it really does talk about learning lessons when you're dealing with that Libra energy, okay? In your Mars position, ah, Mars position, y'all. This squares you. Tensions coming to an end. That's how I receive this, right? Action, right? Tensions coming to an end. This is also talking about a growth process of information or knowledge, or just the process of things happening, situations. It's the growth of something, right? You had to go through a lot to get to this point where things had to come to this ending, right? And it could be the ending here that is acknowledged, that is giving you the truth, or giving you the acknowledgement of that which you need to understand or know, because this is the sun in Gemini, and the sun brings focus to an understanding, to communication, to useful, efficient communication. What am I getting here? What am I learning? right? What am I understanding? What is the light switch that's being turned on here, right? You know, and it's saying that just because something ended doesn't mean that there wasn't anything supposed to come out of it. It's not like, you know, it's, things just completely end. You know what I mean? It's like one thing goes into another, one thing leads to another, you know? And this is also talking about a growth and optimism, right? Because it's a 10, so it's related to the wheel of fortune, which is Jupiter, and that is talking about growth. It's talking about travel. So maybe this is like travel that brought an end to something, right? Or, you know, communication that is going to bring the end of, you know, a very problematic situation that has occurred for a long period of time. You know, because this is a 10, so it's related to the 10th house as well. And that's Capricorn, talking about time. What are the lessons that you've learned, right? And here we go with Jupiter again, being the wheel of fortune, number 10, right? Learning. It's also religion too. You know, so it could be belief systems that were affecting something, right? And what you value. Because the 10th house do talk about what you value as well. Valuing this experience that taught you something, even though it was problematic, even though it was dark at times, but it's over. And now what's the takeaway? What's the takeaway? You know, it could even do with work for some of you. Some of you might have ended work, right? Or some of you might have been laid off. Or some of you might have, you know, decided to quit your job and didn't know what you were going to have coming up. You know what I mean? Or something happened with the job ending, right? But that brought about a new beginning, right? Because it's a regenerative. The tens are regenerative energy. You know what I mean? Because it really does talk about something coming to an end, something being exhausted. And it also talks about a responsibility to acknowledge that a phase has ended or something has, you know, is trying to clear itself out, right? Because this is snow. Snow is purity, right? And it's also, right, snow is interesting because this is squaring Pisces, and when I think Pisces, I think raindrops, right? But then when you think of snow, right here, it's a change of perspective, it's a different energy, it's a fresher take on something, right? And there's red here, right? It's talking about passion. This could even be like, you know, death, right? For some people, because it's the Mars position and it's the 10, this could be like it could be like something ended in an early stage, right? Or something, you know, happened quickly, because the 10s do talk about things slow, right? But the 10th house is slow, so it talks about time. But then it talks about like also the ending actually happening. And when that ending happens, it's like, whoa, that's it, right? It's kind of like when you get to the top of the mountain and you're like, oh my God, am I up here? Wow. Oh, I guess I won't have to be climbing anymore. I won't have to make all this effort anymore. I did it. Okay. I understand something now. 10 becoming a 1, right? Responsibility, accountability. Anyway, in your Venus position, which is the planet that is exalted in your sign, you have Venus in Aquarius. And this is a 5, right? 5 of Swords. So it's talking about the conflict of the mind about a relationship. You still are conflicted about why something didn't work, right? You might be still conflicted about, you know, the differences, right? Or the things that were kind of like odd, right? The 5s do talk about, you know, security within yourself, right? And questioning your own psychological security, your own mental security. It's questioning your own belief systems too. So someone may have made you, or you yourself might be questioning what it is that you believe, right? You could be asking yourself, you know, how am I valued amongst my friends? Okay. I'm Aquarius. Okay, yes. You could be asking yourself, how am I valued amongst my friends? You know, are these specific people that I've allowed to myself to attach to, right? Because it's talking about 5, right? Reverting or referring back to the Hierophant, attachments, right? Um, what you allow. So this is kind of like what people, marriages, relationships, because it's Venus. or my friendships, right? And it's also talking about friends and lovers, lovers and friends. Are we lovers? Are we friends? Venus and Aquarius, you know what I mean? Are we lovers? Are we friends? Are we enemies? You know what I mean? What is it? It's like that type of thing. Like, what are we? It's confusing. You know what I mean? And then, it's also kind of like there's two different realities here because the fives do talk about reality, right? It talks about reality. And Aquarius is talking about eccentricities and the multiplicity of, multi-layeredness, right? It gets really crazy with Aquarius because it's kind of like, yes, I am just as important as you are, right? And that's what we're trying to understand here. I'm just as important as you are in this commitment or within this institution or within this thing that we understand that we are both attached to, right? That is what it is. But then it's kind of like, but you are going to affect me within this experience, right? And you might even take out the beauty of us being here, and that's what the conflict is, because your beliefs are not necessarily my beliefs, right? You said fear, tear. Okay, I get it, right? But then it's related to the fifth house as well, which is talking about romance. So the romance may have been lost, right? And when romance is lost, then it kind of like the perspective changes and it becomes something else. It's still something, but it becomes something else. And that's why Uranus rules Aquarius, radical change or just change in general, right? Mercury always wants something to be something and become something else. You know what I mean? This is a five, so it's related to the fifth house, which talks about what I can create from what I am and what I am becoming, right? Pluto is becoming something because it once was something, right? And Pluto is talking about transformative energy. So it's talking about a relationship or a commitment may have transformed. Your perspective has changed. It has shifted. That's the conflict, though. So it's kind of like, where do I go from here knowing what I know now? You're dealing with it. You're still in the middle. Stuck in the middle with you. Here I am. You know that song? What are the lyrics to that song? Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. I'm guessing those are the lyrics. I'm just kind of like guessing. But I love those songs. I love music from like the 70s. I love all kinds of shit. I listen to music from like the 1920s and 30s, right? But I have Pluto and Saturn conjunct in my first house, y'all. Here are your future cards. You got the energy and the outcome moving forward, the future, and then you have the ascendant card. All right, here we go. Last three. This has been a long reading. Work. Somebody out there say they were an Aquarius? This is good though. Because the outcome and the energy moving forward is talking about emotional cleansing and confidence being restored, restorative energy. Last night when I was walking home, I saw a sign that was talking about restorative massage or something, but all I saw was restore. And I was like, yes. Anyway, the star card is number 17, which is talking about, I believe, let's see, 15, 16, 17. This is the third stage of spiritual enlightenment, right? In the third stage, right, number 3, that's really related to Mercury, and it's also related to Venus, right? This is almost kind of like a Venus character that has been stripped. The baby ain't there. She ain't got the dress on. There ain't nothing there except for what it is that she needs to know. Aquarius, I know. So now we're talking about you gaining power out of your knowing, right? Because it is an 8. So it's talking about power. It's talking about prudence. It's talking about application, but it's the mental application, effortless, right? Because we're talking about not controlling, we're talking about effortlessness. Okay? And this is kind of like understanding where you are and where you're going to go, understanding where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. But this is really understanding where you are, because this is really in the moment, right? And understanding that wherever you are, that's where you're going to be, or whatever that saying is. But the star card is related to, needing to achieve regeneration, right? Chakras, um, mental clarity, sound bathing, listening to binaural beats. And I don't really like to listen to overproduced binaural beats. That's why I'm listening to like a tongue pan right now, or like a hand pan. Marimbas, really great, pure tones. Um, but that's what this is talking about. Seeking, you know, um, solemn, right? And the star is crowning. The star is right at the top. It's talking about crown chakra, right? So that crown chakra needs to be activated. It needs to be cleared out for some of you guys, for some of you, for all y'all, because y'all be ruling the crown chakra. Y'all be ruling the crown chakra. But for real though, Pisces, you have a lot going on. You gotta give yourself that time. You need it. Aquarius and Pisces definitely need that time. Okay? Capricorn needs the time because they need to relax and chill out. Okay? You're gonna burn out. Alright, let's look at your future card. That's a beautiful one for the outcome. The star card, yes, healing. Yes, healing. Mom and son. Alright. You better give High Priestess energy. This is definitely mom and son energy. Your wife is a Capricorn. Yes. Lots going on. Karma, karmic transformations, karmic debts. Also power struggles within that karma, because you can't really control karma. Karma is really just something that happens. Have you been watching MSNBC or CNN or any of the news channels? Karma's a bitch, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, you love your son, and that is amazing. And that is very Empress energy, but it's also High Priestess too, because it's a feeling, right? And it's 1 and 2, understanding, right? Relating, right? So that relationship between a mother and a child is very pure reflection, right? It's beautiful. We can go on and on, child. I don't know why I just don't do lives and just talk to y'all. Okay. Here we go with your future card. Ooh, interesting. Wasn't expecting it, but it's good. King of Pentacles. Taurus energy. Perspective has changed, or a matured perspective, right? Someone that can understand their reality and really embrace their reality. Yes? And this is abundance, having it all, or from your perspective, having it all. This is also kind of like being able to trust in someone that might be able to provide you with something that's going to help get you somewhere. And it's not kind of like coming up or anything, but this is somebody that wants to be involved or someone that wants to be involved in the right way. Because Taurus is a very nurturing energy, and they want to provide security for others as well as themselves. And that's a very high polarity. That is why we have that relationship, or that correlating energy between Pisces, which is the second high major arcana card, right? and the second house being Taurus, but they both have a Venus connection, right? Which is talking about love and compassion. And Pisces is willing to sacrifice things to show love and compassion. And while Taurus doesn't like sacrificing things, they will share if you're a part of their group. But I digress. Now, let's look at the top. Oh. All right now, Three of Wands. Getting back to you. Getting back to self. This is also, being playful. Optimism as well, being a 3, because the Empress is optimistic. She's Venus. Oshun. Okay? So you might be dealing with the Gemini Pisces. You might be dealing with an Aries. You might be dealing with a Venus person. Particularly Libra or Taurus. Maybe Libra. So this might have to do with the relationship. This could even also have to do with, wanting to receive return on energy that you've set in motion, right? Excuse me. This is putting the application, or the energy has been applied. The switch has been turned on, right? There was a choice that was made, or there was action that was taken, and now you're trying to see what's going to come out of this action, right? These are good things, I feel. You just have to understand who you are, what you have done, right? Because you have to understand your actions. Okay? It's Sun being exalted in Aries. So this is bringing focus back to yourself. Focus back to what really matters, because the 3s are talking about what really matters. Okay? And there's growth here. Personal growth is what really matters. Okay? I want to give you more with this 3 here. What else can I pull from this 3? Venus, Aries. This is also talking about, something not being changed, right? It's like this energy was already in place, right? Because it's Sun and Aries, right? And all the Mars rules Aries. Pluto is a co-ruler of Aries. Yes, getting that job. Because the Sun is the authority, right? Sun is a good representative of authority and action and what you can do. Because Leo is the Sun, right? And they can create. And Aries is talking about what you can create from you, from your own assertion, right? And this is definitely feeling proud about what you can create, just like the Empress is proud that she's pregnant because she did it. It's coming from her, right? So this is saying not needing anyone's help. Actually, no, because no one got anywhere alone. But this is saying that, you're going to be able to take the credit for what it is that you get out of this situation. Yeah, I'm sure it has taken a toll on the relationship, because it's like the things that bring you security are making you feel emotional, right? This is a job, right? Mars and Capricorn, the Sun is bringing focus to this job, right? Here we go. Now you got me looking more. 2 3s, okay? Here we go. Things coming into form. A job coming into form for somebody. you know, or a better situation that isn't going to be as sensitive or as susceptible to outside influence. And that's what the threes are talking about. Even when we look at the Three of Swords, it's like, well, ain't nobody gonna be able to change what I know about this now. You can't tell me that I didn't receive this email, or you can't tell me that I didn't get that voicemail that you sent me, or you can't tell me that I didn't see the hotel key in the trash, or you can't tell me, right? So ain't none gonna change what you know about something, or ain't none gonna change what has been done about something, right? Or ain't nothing gonna change the work that I done to this, right? That's what the threes are. You know what I mean? All right, Pisces, y'all better live. I did your reading for October. Like, share, and subscribe, definitely. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be at Shaun T Bookshop and Crystal Gallery tomorrow from 12 to 5 doing tarot and astrology readings, okay? What I would also like to give you is the address. It's 230 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues, okay, near Union Square in the NYU East Village area of New York City. Follow me on Instagram, Providence Tarot. Also, I am NYC Kendrick, and I am also Kendrick NYC. And my food blog or page is The Tongue Pop, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. Leave stuff in the comments. Say things, you know. Let me know if you guys want to just do lives without cards and just kind of chilling and talking about topics. My boyfriend has a lot of Cap in his chart. His Mercury, oh wow, is in Capricorn. Ooh, Mercury likes to go fast and Capricorn is slow, honey. Right? Mercury is also the messenger. Right? He probably feels like he has to do a lot just to get something done. Right? He probably feels like he has to do a lot just to get one thing done, or do a lot just to get, you know, something, you know, make something happen. Do a lot to make something happen. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. Lydia. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Oh, and if you didn't know what this necklace was made out of, I've been doing some research because people are always asking me. It's marble onyx, and we think this is ivory. It's not jade. You know, if I tell anybody that knows jade, then they'll be like, "It's not jade." I'm like, "Okay, I know. I probably can't afford a piece of jade like this, but you don't gotta be like, it's not jade. I know it's not." I'm rambling. Mutable energy, honey. Bye.